In 2013, a strange website appeared that many call one of the weirdest places on the internet. It was known as Angusnicneven.com or Terminal 00. The website looked like a broken forum or an abandoned portal. The pages often had a blood-red background with cryptic phrases scattered around. Visitors found random words and images they could click on. Each link led to even more hidden pages. There was no clear map. It was just a maze of hundreds of connected nodes. Every page had its own strange style. Some showed pixel art or distorted shapes. Others played ambient sounds or music that made people uneasy. The text was equally confusing. It looked like fragments of poems or diary entries, mixed with warnings and story pieces that never added up. Some described it as dreamlike. Others said it felt surreal or like something from a nightmare. People were fascinated, but also disturbed. Many wondered the same thing. What is this site, and why does it exist? As the site gained attention on forums, curious users began to treat it like an alternate reality game. A community formed on Reddit in a group called r/Terminal00. They worked together to decode puzzles in hidden ciphers. Some pages were locked with riddles that needed cryptographic skills to solve. Users cracked codes and revealed creepy poems or new story fragments. Many believed there was a bigger message waiting to be uncovered. Some thought it might all build toward a grand reveal. Others were more suspicious. On one thread, a user warned that the random downloads could be dangerous. People worried it might be a virus trap. A few went even further, saying the site looked like the work of someone having a breakdown. They thought the chaotic words and images might be a direct window into an unstable mind. Despite the warnings, the exploration continued. Dedicated users mapped out more than 300 pages, which the site itself called nodes. They found repeating themes. One was a force called COS that seemed to consume the site. Another was a guide who spoke to visitors, calling them travelers and leading them through the nightmare world. The deeper the people went, the more it felt like a cult space. The site had its own rules and languages. Some pages showed distorted mandala art and strange symbols, with words about rebirth and transcendence. This led a few visitors to suspect the site was tied to occult ideas. On Reddit, a user named Tactical Spook compared it to reading a creepy SCP file or falling into a Lovecraft-style story. Each click, they said, pulled you further into madness. Through it all, the site's creator remained silent and anonymous, which only made the mystery stronger. In time, some answers came out. Terminal 00 was created by Angusnicneven, an American writer and artist. He was also the author of a dark fantasy novel. The site began as a personal art project while he was editing his book. Nick Nevin later explained that the site was an interactive art portfolio. He had filled it with puzzles, abstract art, and vague storytelling. He admitted he got carried away, letting it grow into a massive digital storybook with no clear ending. Even with this explanation, Terminal 00 did not lose its reputation. New visitors still land on a homepage full of strange loops and cryptic words, with no clue what they are looking at. The site often goes offline and then returns, and fans continue to share lore and map out new puzzles whenever changes appear. Terminal 00 remains a disturbing curiosity, a place where hours can vanish as you click deeper and deeper. But Angusnicneven was not the only site accused of hiding a cult-like message. Galdrux.com is another strange website that gave many visitors a feeling of a cult. Some even called it the first ever digital cult. At first glance, the site looked like the homepage of a secret society. It was filled with cryptic writings about philosophy, reality, and rituals. Strange art and coded phrases were scattered across a page. The word Galdrux appeared everywhere. Visitors were told about Galdruxian ideas and entities and invited to explore a so-called Galdruxian universe. The visuals were unsettling, with arcane symbols, psychedelic artwork, and looping videos. One section called itself the Galdrux Temple and played an odd video loop. Other pages contained rambling manifestos about alternate realities and consciousness. People wondered if this was a real cult trying to recruit members or an elaborate prank. The origins of Galdrux.com were unclear, which only made it seem more mysterious. Early visitors, often coming from weird website lists or Reddit posts, said it read like a manifesto. The writing was dense and hard to follow. It mixed talk of magic, technology, and spirituality in a way that seemed designed to confuse. One welcome page even had a strange disclaimer. It said the site was fictional, but then added that it might not stay fictional forever. This made people question whether the creators were joking or suggesting that the cult could somehow become real. The site described something called the Galdrux praxis, or imperative, which hinted that followers, called Galdruxians, were supposed to spread a new set of beliefs to mankind. There were also references to rituals and entities, with sections labeled Galdrux Temple and Galdrux Dataplex. Some users who explored the site found hidden directories. One Reddit user said they followed the link that led to a spreadsheet of accounts tied to the Galdrux network. It became clear that the website was only part of a bigger online presence. There were mentions of something called the Game 23, which sounded like either an alternate reality game or a codename for cult activities. The visuals added to the unsettling atmosphere. Distorted images of eyes, triangles, and hooded figures appeared alongside glitchy digital art. One section even called its own followers post-Neoist meta-Discordian Galdruxians, a mix of occult and technical jargon that left readers confused. It was hard to tell if the creators were serious or mocking cults. Naturally, online communities began to investigate. In the late 2010s, users on Reddit's r/internet mysteries posted links to the site and asked if it was a real cult or a game. The first reaction was confusion. Some people dug into the tags and noticed references to parody religions like Discordianism. Others pointed out that real cults rarely call themselves cults, while Galdrux.com actually described itself that way in its text. This made many suspect it was satire. Digging deeper, Redditors linked Galdrux to the Game 23, which was described as a chaos magic-themed alternate reality game. Discordian groups are known for satire, pranks, and mixing humor with mysticism. That is exactly what Galdrux felt like. Some users even said the project seemed inspired by Robert Anton Wilson and the Principia Discordia, both tied to Discordian parody religion. Still, not everyone was convinced it was harmless. Some began to treat Galdrux as if it were a real cult forming online. Rumors spread that it was recruiting members into an online collective. A few people claimed to have joined Galdrux chats and felt that they were being indoctrinated. Others who believed it was a game searched for hidden codes. Some pages did contain random character strings or references to puzzles used in ARGs, but many of the pages looped back into strange philosophy instead of clear clues. This caused frustration. Some argued that maybe the whole point was confusion, and that Galdrux was showing how easy it is for people to fall into endless conspiracy rabbit holes. Over time, opinions about Galdrux.com split into camps. Many concluded that it was not a real cult, but rather a form of internet art or satire. The disclaimer about being fiction and the exaggerated jargon supported that view. The links to Discordian-inspired games like the Game 23 made it seem more like a role-playing project than a belief system. In fact, some investigations showed that the creators had posted on Reddit's ARG forum, suggesting they saw it as a part of a game. The cult comparisons never went away. On TikTok and YouTube, some videos still call it a creepy digital cult. In the end, Galdrux.com remains one of those strange internet mysteries that cannot be pinned down. To this day, we still don't know if the website is a joke or an active recruiting cult platform. Housecreep.com takes a very different path compared to other cursed websites. At first glance, it looks like a normal database, but what it offers is chilling. You can type in an address and see what crimes, deaths, or disturbing events happened there in the past. Some call it a Google for haunted or stigmatized houses. The idea is simple but terrifying. Imagine typing in your home address and learning it was a scene of a violent crime years ago, or that people once reported ghostly activity in an upstairs room. That kind of discovery is what made Housecreep both fascinating and unsettling. The site even welcomed visitors, with a line inviting them to find homes with creepy, curious, or criminal past. It quickly earned a place on a list of the internet's darkest rabbit holes. Housecreep launched in 2013. Two brothers from Ontario, Canada created it as a community project. They wanted users to submit the history of specific homes, especially if those homes had dark or unusual pasts. The brothers called these stigmatized properties. The idea was that if something strange, tragic, or illegal happened in a house, it could be shared on Housecreep for others to see. This included murders, drug lab busts, and suspicious deaths, but also unusual events like filming locations, tragic accidents, and reported hauntings. The goal was to give more transparency to the housing market and at the same time satisfy the curiosity of true crime fans. From the start, the creators asked that entries be based on facts. Submissions were supposed to use news articles, public records, or other reliable sources. To get the archive going, the brothers themselves entered a large number of records. They focused especially on Canada, even adding nearly every homicide in Toronto from the previous decade. Soon the database held thousands of addresses, stretching from North America to other parts of the world. The way Housecreep works is simple. You can search by city or by typing an exact address. If anything is logged for that location, it shows up with dates, descriptions, and sometimes links to old reports. A person might discover that a house in their neighborhood was once a substance lab, or that a fire decades ago killed the family inside. Many people use Housecreep to look up their own homes or houses they were thinking of buying. On Reddit, a discussion once asked what users had discovered about their homes. One person said they found their first apartment had been the site of a gruesome incident involving the landlord's daughter. Housecreep also had a paid option where members could see an interactive map. This let people browse markers on a map showing murder houses, haunted houses, and other categories. As Housecreep grew, it became both popular and controversial. True crime fans flocked to it, treating it like a macabre treasure hunt. People searched for famous addresses tied to killers, kidnappings, or unsolved mysteries. Some use the site's blog and curated lists to find haunted houses of Hollywood or homes of known offenders. But not everyone enjoyed the idea. Some people were upset to find their current homes listed on the site. That could mean one of two things. Either something bad truly happened there, or someone had posted it incorrectly. Homeowners and renters worried about privacy and accuracy. They asked what would happen if someone falsely tied their address to a crime. Others wondered if old tragedies, long past, should continue to stain the reputation of a home where families now lived. On the site's own FAQ, the creators warned users not to trespass or harass any residents. Despite the controversy, Housecreep survived. Over time, it became a known archive for the dark histories of houses. The site has remained active through community support. It even set up a Patreon to help fund operations. Much of its information comes from public records and old news articles, meaning it stays within legal limits. Still, the disturbing feeling remains. Maybe you should visit it and enter your address just to check. Lhohq.info is not just a website. It feels like an entire online world. Many describe it as a digital labyrinth with cult-like vibes. It is sprawling, cryptic, and filled with pages that mix surreal art, conspiracies, and bizarre humor. Exploring Lhohq feels like falling into a rabbit hole with no end. The site has no clear menu or introduction. You land on a page and follow links, not knowing where they lead. Once you start clicking, it is easy to lose track of time and sense. The effect is both fascinating and unsettling. The name Lhohq is said to stand for Laughing Horses Orifice Headquarters. The site first appeared around 2007, but it did not get real attention until the mid-2010s, when online conspiracy culture exploded. At first glance, the site looks like a chaotic collage. Imagine an old Geocities page turned up to the extreme. Flashing neon text, odd animations, strange embedded videos that played without warning, and hidden clickable spots everywhere. The content itself ranges from talk of UFOs and mind control to occult symbols and secret societies. One page might show a warped photo of a political figure with phone numbers and addresses next to it. Another might have an old symbol covered in eyes and pentagrams. Some pages play distorted sounds like laughter or backwards voices. The whole site feels like a strange mix of madness, art, and paranoia. There's no real homepage. Each page links to more, and the chain never ends. Users have said there are at least 200 interconnected pages. Some have even built maps to keep track of them. Because there is no structure, you might click on a page about MKUltra experiments straight into a page of abstract art with no words. Some pages even displayed personal contact details of real figures and scandals, which made people nervous. It led to fears that the site might be a trap or a honeypot designed to lure in conspiracy hunters. Others wondered if the site hid illegal content deep inside. In 2016, during the peak of online conspiracies like Pizzagate, Lhohq suddenly became popular. Threads appeared on Reddit and 4chan where users shared links to the site. Some thought it was an ARG. Others thought it was a whistleblower dump full of hidden truths. A small subreddit formed just to catalog discoveries. People found hidden text in the site's HTML code that led to YouTube videos with equally strange visuals. They also linked it to other sites with the same style, like Applied Chaos Dynamics Control Association.net and Sint.us. This gave the impression that Lhohq was part of a whole network of mysterious domains. As more people investigated, signs pointed to it being art. Some videos on the site were found to be the work of filmmaker Mark Escribano. Other images credited known photographers. The site also showed references to the Church of the Subgenius, a parody religion famous for blending jokes with fake prophecy. These clues suggested that Lhohq was more likely a parody of an art project about conspiracy culture than an actual conspiracy hub. Still, many were not convinced. The site sometimes changed or went down without warning, fueling fears that it was being monitored or altered. Because it contained personal data pulled from public record sites, some visitors worried they could end up on a watch list just for browsing it. Others noted pages labeled auto-added that looked like data scraped automatically, giving the impression the site was alive and updating itself. That idea made it even creepier. For those hoping it was an ARG, Lhohq was frustrating. It had no clear end or goal. If the creators abandoned it, then the endless loose threads became a playground for conspiracy theories. People filled the gaps with their own ideas, claiming it was a psyop, a trap, or a portal to hidden knowledge. For others, especially those who learned it might be satire, it became a fascinating piece of internet art. Today, Lhohq.info is still online. Researchers generally agree it is most likely a sprawling art project. It seems to be a parody of conspiracy culture itself, like a distorted mirror of internet paranoia. If you found this deep dive into internet mysteries interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We delve into deep internet lore and disturbing cases regularly, and we'd love to have you with us for more explorations. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay safe.